Okay, thank you so much, guys. I just wanted to introduce you all to each other as well as to the members. So Mohan and Joe are joining us all the way from Singapore. Thank you. Sameer and Sonal are joining us from Goregaon, which is amazing that we've been so local here. And Naushad from the other end of town, from Kolaba. I also will just share that I think Mohan and Joe have been training with us since April or May of 2020. And Sameer, Sonal since June, I think, 20. And Naushad since December. And you all train with Sunil or me, yeah? So I just want to ask you to share your training journey, not only with us, but what you were doing before that in brief, if you could, that'll be great. Shall we ask Naushad to go first, since
I'm the only bachelor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so before I came to Elite, actually, I was doing a lot of physiotherapy. So some basic set physiotherapy exercises and recuperating from a back injury and neck and stuff like that. And then coming to Elite Fitness was a whole new world for me opened up, because I went from specialized targeted stuff to working and strengthening and changing my whole body and even rewiring the way I look at fitness and my brain and things I felt I was restricted with, and opened up for me. So for me, the contrast was great, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy being here, really, honestly. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, go. Sonal, Sameer?
Sure. So I think it started off with our daughter working out with the children and teenagers. And then we thought, thoda sasta package milega if the family joins in. So we used to work at the local gym here in Borivali, and we used to do traditional kind of all those upper bodies and our chest hair and our legs hair and kind of stuff. And we were working consistently for about a year to 18 months before we started working with Madhuri. But I think for us, it was more about convenience, because I think the timing and everything was matching. But then it really, like Naushad said, it really changed how we look at fitness, right? So it's no longer about bicep curls and legs and just kind of isolated movements. And it's really about the curveball that you guys throw at us every morning. It's exciting as well.
Likewise. Yes.
I have a question. What time in the morning do you work out? Do they wake up at 4 o'clock, this train you?
So for us, it's been a journey that way also. We started training really early, and then I discovered that mujhe nahi jamta. So I shifted my time. So now I work out a little later at 9. Sonal, of course, depends on when it was at the park. She used to work out earlier. Kush, our daughter, and Sonal. I work out a little later. I'm not a morning person.
Mohan, don't listen to him too carefully, please. Yes, you're still a work in progress where that goes. Yes. And you both, Joe, Mohan?
So before lockdown, workout for me was always like a alone time thing. Like I used to either run or do some kickboxing or yoga, whatever. It was my time kind of thing in my head. We have been hearing about Sunil's kids group class in the morning from mutual friends from Bombay, and that's how, when lockdown happened, we thought it's a great idea for us as a family, like 2 kids and both of us, to work out together. We started with that as the goal, to work out together. And once the lockdown lifted, the kids are back in their after school activities and stuff. But Mohan and I are still doing like 3 times a week. Trying our best to stick to the schedule and do 3 times a week.
So you all are similar in that way, that we started with your kids, and then now we're But yeah, and now training there. Okay.
I've actually never worked out on a regular basis ever before. Maybe I did, for a year, 10 years back. So it was always going to the gym and trying to do something by myself. When lockdown first started, I basically borrowed Jyotsna's kickboxing instructor and just tried that for just like 2-3 weeks. Didn't particularly enjoy that. And then this thing with the kids, all of us doing together, it actually started as doing something together and having like family time. And that was a lot of fun. It was, the 4 of us doing it together was a lot of fun. And, so that's kind of, I think, what got me into and into doing this on a regular basis. And I think you guys will remember I was in such bad shape when I first started. I actually had like my BP shot through the roof. I was feeling, dizzy and had pretty, extreme reactions. So then I think even after the kids, this is the longest I've actually done any kind of physical activity with discipline. So I think in the last 1 year, I think I only missed like 3 sessions. So yeah, it's working very well for me. I'm actually feeling good about how I am right now, and it's still long ways to go. But and the reason this is working very well for me is that I don't have to go anywhere. Okay, so otherwise, I'm extremely busy, and having to go somewhere adds that extra layer of friction where I have to like take a decision and then go somewhere. So here it's at home. So there is nothing I need to do. Literally, I have to change my clothes and then go downstairs. That's it. Right. So it just has made it so easy to do it. So that's why I'm able to persist with it. So I have no desire to go back to the gym. I don't care about the fact that it's not in person. In fact, I like the fact that it's not in person, because in the past, whenever I've had physical trainers, what ended up happening is that within 3 months, the physical training session has become a massage session. Somehow they, so we spend less time working out and more time with them, stretching me and,
I can relate to that so much, boss, so much.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Now that, the first thing I used to do was I lie down on the back, and that poor guy who used to take that roller. After 10 minutes, I would like, oh, back thoda tight hai.
You start with being a 1-hour training session, and in 3 months, it will be like 45 minutes massage session and 15-minute training session. And, so obviously with remote, my charm doesn't work. So, it ends up being a 1-hour massage session. 1-hour training session, which is actually, it works.
It's a damn good thing that this is not in person in that case. I tell you, you do not want to get a massage from Sunil Kudva. It's like not instant. It'll be 3 seconds and then that's it.
Getting a massage from Sunil Kudva. Like you don't know the amount. You don't know the amount of pressure I need for it to actually,
But thank you. You've already touched on what is working well for you. But I did want to ask all of you that, do you see the convenience of training from home is there and it's available for anybody. But at the same time, it's not as easy or as simple for everyone else, So I'm just wondering that what is it that is more than that in terms of virtual training? Yeah. Is it a mindset which is driven that says that, okay, I'm going to do this no matter what, and therefore the convenience helps you? Is it something else? And so just your thoughts on that.
So the incentive for, like I said, was it has become like a family time. Like I feel like we get like an hour together where we are working on something and we know exactly what's happening. And so it's become like a bonding time for us. That's the incentive that keeps me going to do this. And in fact, like since we started, you guys, both of you, have been able to cater to like different age groups in the same session with different needs.
I cannot hear you.
The audio.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can hear you now, sir.
Yeah, I think the versatility and the adaptability that you've shown for different injuries that we have, and also the daily complaint of, oh, this shoulder pain, or my ankle got fractured, or this and that, but you immediately quickly turn it around and change it. And so I really like that part. That keeps me going.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah.
What do you?
Yeah.
Basically, effective.
Yeah, go.
Sorry, yeah. So it's the fact that it's been effective, and that, so the distance has actually not been a problem at all. It's been effective. It's been, easy to follow the discipline, right? And so the convenience is a huge thing for me, and I can see the progress that I'm making, right? So we started with a certain set of weights, with so that actually is working very well. So any habit can only be sustained if it is easy to have it. Definitely, easy for me. The friction is very low, and I'm seeing the results.
So Naushad started training at the gym the first time. So he trained for months at Gambhiri, and now he has no choice but to train virtually.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Naushad?
So for me, it's as Mohan said, I think it's so convenient. I mean, I really don't see the beef with it, because literally you're saved the hassle. I mean, it's fun to go to a gym. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, it's also easy. It's super easy. I mean, literally you can get off your bed and get onto your mat. So it's the convenience is fantastic. It's not as awkward as it may seem, because people feel, chota phone pe dekhne, but there's no issue at all for me. I feel when I train with you, Madhuri, in fact, it's very crystal clear. I mean, there's no issue for me to train virtually as far as that is concerned. I think continuity is important. So why would I stop? What is the compelling reason for me to stop? Just because I can't go to a gym, why should I stop working out? I can always do different things at home. Maybe I want to take a break for 5-10 days because we're at home, it's lockdown or whatever. But then there's no real, I mean, I'm searching my mind to really see why would people stop just exercising? Because I'm coming to the fact that there are so many benefits, especially at a time like this, with mental health and keeping the body fine. I mean, I just know after a workout in the morning, you have your endorphins buzz flowing, you feel good, you've had a good sweat, I've had a good sweat. And it sets the tone at a time, especially at a time like this, to be in a state of good awareness, good alertness, good presence, rather than slowly day by day slipping into something that you don't really want to slip into, especially during COVID, when in any case you're cooped up.
And feeling like a victim, and then feeling more as if
feeling more
I'm stuck, or I wish this was, yes.
And you don't realize where the rot or when it sets in, because it's so slow day by day by day. So for me, this is, and also it's fun because the variety of stuff that we do, that hasn't been compromised at all. I really enjoy that. Every time we're doing something new, at home we do something new. I mean, the last time we had the farmer's walk with the kettlebell up and down, and it was just like every time we're doing something new, and I enjoy it. So I was really searching why anybody would really stop. I haven't found an answer yet.
The continuity is a great point. Thank you.
Yeah. I keep borrowing from, habit forming products. Like this is in the technology world, right? So things is variable reward, right? When you have something called variable, you don't know what you're going to get. It's a very important dimension for habit formation. And for, when there's variable rewards, you actually seek those out, right? So the fact that our routines are different, every day there's a different routine, and so one, it gives a better sense of accomplishment. And so you guys do a very good job of setting the routines. And second is you never know what's going to come. So the unexpected element is all, and these are important things. I'm sure probably, I don't know if you think about it in those terms, but like, this is what, like the Facebooks and the Instagrams and all those guys, this is what they keep thinking about in order to get you hooked.
And they are an interesting couple because they both trained with both of us. So yeah, and it can be fairly random. So they don't know who the next session is with. and we have quite a laugh about it often, because they're expecting a kind of session and then they discover another one, just because it's me or differently. Yes. And you, Sonal, what I know you love meeting in person and the outdoors, and yeah, I know that it's harder in that sense for you, right?
But I don't mind working virtually also, because there's not much of a difference, because the way you make us do every day different. I love working out. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to throw this last question out, saying what has surprised you about not just your training or trainer, but about yourself, let's say. And Naushad, you touched on it briefly about, okay, the thing of why would you stop? Maybe it's a thought that may not have come earlier before COVID, etc. About the reason to continue training irrespective. Yeah. But something that has surprised you guys about yourself having stuck with training virtually or otherwise. And of course, feel free to talk about your trainer as well.
Yeah, what has really surprised me is that I had a lot of limiting beliefs about training, and especially for myself, because I was coming out of an injury, and then sometimes my knee would feel funny or my wrist would feel funny, and my limiting belief said that when this is fine, then I will start training. When this is all right, then I will start training. And coming to you guys has been a revelation for me, is that I can train and work around all of this. I don't have to stop training unless there's something really that requires me to stop or whatever. But and that's been a great sense of joy for me, because otherwise I would always wait that when I'm better over here, then I'll start this, or when I'm feeling better here, then I'll start that. But thanks to you, Madhuri, really I've improved so much, and we've worked around all the issues that tend to crop up in the initial months of someone training. And that for me has been like, wow. And I want to say one more thing. I want to say one more thing about the trainer. Talking to Sunil and you has really changed I see you guys when you all talk, and that's why I like to pick your brain sometimes. It's much more than just training. I like the fact that you guys see training as part of a whole of life, and then how it fits into that whole thing. So then I know I feel more secure that I'm in the hands of a slightly wise person, if I may use that, so to I don't know a better word to use, but someone who understands the connections that training has in life and is not just driven by get up, do this kettlebell, okay, you're done, go home. No, you got to do this. But someone who understands all the aspects of life, maybe the psyche, the psychology, emotions, culture, maybe some philosophy, some spirituality, some body, neuroscience. And that for me is an important thing, to know that I'm in the hands of somebody who's got real substance beyond just their field.
Naushad articulates himself so well, and I must say that the feeling is mutual. It's likewise. He is a life coach, so there's a lot of things that a lot of nuances of things that we talk about in general, we write about, but because his work also, makes him think about these and other aspects of life, he is beautifully able to relate it back to his body and to his training, which I think has helped you in making, many quicker steps of progress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so I've been thinking about this session that you had here. To kind of build on what Naushad asked, I think there are multiple questions that I think you guys want answered here and want your viewers to know. So first is, why stop is, I think one is just the inertia probably. But so one is, if we start with the base level, physical stop ho gaya to virtual karna chahiye ki nahi? I think it's at least at the base level, it's like at least have something rather than nothing. So chalo, if you're forced to be indoors and do virtual, at least do that, then not do it at all. Agar second phase mein jaye, then you could go on any YouTube video, you could pull up YouTube video. Why do you want a live virtual thing? For us, it's always been two things. One is the accountability, a live session, because I have made you a commitment, I need to show up on a certain time to work out. And then the second is, of course, a trainer can see things, right? So if the form is not right, if I'm exerting too much or too less or whatever, but trainer could see that. So that's the merit for a live training session. And then why live training with Elite? I think Naushad probably summed it up beautifully. Why train virtual with Elite Fitness is because of the holistic approach that you guys have. To answer your question, what surprised me personally, it's like when I was in the gym, I was in my own ego trip. I was trying to kind of push as heavy bench. Aaj bench kitna kiya, right? Aaj 70 pounds, whatever that is, right? Aaj squat kitna kiya, ya deadlift kitna kiya, was the kind of unasked, unanswered question that we all were chasing in the gym. Whereas here, I think it's much more focused for me, at least. And because we are not just focusing on lifting a certain amount of weight, it's a humbling experience as well, because मालूम पड़ता है basic movement नहीं हो पाता है, right? So it's a very humbling experience as well. That's a big surprise.
Lovely. Sonal, you want to add anything to that at all?
I love to say, like, how I see Madhuri and Sunil dedicated, so much, I make so much in love with the, fitness. I just love seeing you both.
Thank you. Joe, Mohan, any? I know we surprise you every session. Yes.
No, my biggest thing is that, like, as a family, the whole lifestyle thing has changed, because all of us have experienced you guys together. The discussions at dinner table is like, oh, how much did Sunil uncle make you do today? Or how many push-ups are you? So it's like it has become more fitness oriented in general as a whole, as opposed to older one doing her own sports, younger one doing her own sports. We have a common fitness language, which I appreciate, and I think it's gonna go forward as well. And like all you guys mentioned, the work ethic is beautiful. It just makes me feel so motivated and accountable that, like, even Mohan can't slip. He can't say I have a meeting. Recommendations and the philosophical discussions with Sunil are like a bonus.
Topical.
This is going to come to bite us all. Just
No.
Sunil is taking this all in.
No. I feel, according to me, Mohan and Joe, I'm like, this is weird to say, but to me, in the last 14 years of training so many people, right? Like at the gym or otherwise, Mohan and Joe have, and even the two couples from a couple from the US, I've seen that the progress has been tremendous, especially Mohan, in terms of being so fresh.
Unused potential, let us never before.
Yeah, the ability to do the moves. Either I've been training really badly in the gym in the last 13 years, maybe, before COVID, maybe I've been doing really bad as a trainer. And or maybe Mohan just understands better, what is expected of him in terms of the move. And like, some people, I still feel like Mohan has barely scratched the surface of his ability. Even though according to him, is very high right now, but according to me, just scratched maybe. And similarly, the others also, like, Joe always had it in her. It's not like we were the main person, but Joe always had it naturally, and even like the Kashyap and those people are also able to do it slowly better.
That is something I feel like it's you and Madhuri doing it, because every exercise we do, you're so focused on the posture, where the leg is, where the foot is.
But eventually it is also got to do with the product, right? It's not just.
In fact, I think that is something that actually surprised me. To answer your question about some things that, the fact that on camera and on screen, you're able to actually catch all those even little things. Right? So like leg is not pointing in the right direction. I hate it when Madhuri makes me put my legs parallel to each other. Not letting me bend to the side because it hurts like hell when you put it like, but you're able to see all that and you're able to, point out. So that was surprising. The fact that this medium can actually work like that and you're able to pay that kind of attention.
Yes, I second that. Especially at a distance, the camera is not really close up, and to spot these little things, wow. Yeah.
So that definitely surprised me. And the other thing that surprised me is, for me, just how I think about fitness now. See, for earlier it was always something that I have to do. It's like, I feel like, or rather like guilty about not doing that, or I need to do, but I never, so now I'm actually enjoying it. I'm thinking of myself as a fit person for the first time in my life. I've actually never thought of myself as a fit person, right? So my own expectations have changed in terms of, what I expect from myself. I think, so that's what I said. I was telling Joe the other day, right? Like, like now, being a fit person is kind of a part of my identity, right? Which was never, which means that I will always evaluate myself against that.
Yes. The benchmark is now higher, where fitness is part of who you are. Yes. And I just want to mention that I do think that for the two couples here, the fact that it started as a family with, your kids driving it, or the intention for it to work for your kids is what drove you towards this. But I think it had a huge role to play in terms of just, wherever we've got to, where we are. And I just want to highlight that because I think we think of so many people who, if we could work with them as families, there's, what works in virtual also is the fact that there's at least one other person there with you, right? Live, in or out, not all the time, doesn't matter, but at least that has been the initial push to kind of, push through the initial resistances that come. I've really enjoyed this interaction. It's just been so lovely to hear, all of you together on this. And thank you so much for taking the time, to talk to us.
Anytime.
Yes.
Thank you for training.
Most welcome. Thank you for training us. Yeah.
Waking up in the morning.
No, before.
Even before that. So, he's been very, very patient with us and very available. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.